guys and gals, Never here from Drake Playing Game. It is 7 on Twitter, the gaming drag. Today I'm coming at you with another Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Koshiro's Path. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. But why? When word of this spreads, it could throw the entire kingdom into chaos. Think of all those who would start to scramble for the throne. And none of them would get close to it. The King's Council, your council, knows that you are still alive and will do everything to keep those not worthy of the crown away from the throne. For the time being, we need you to stay in hiding, and we need to fool our enemies. Once we have determined it is safe, we will announce your return. But until then, it must be a closely guarded secret that you are still alive. As you can see, though, it has backfired a bit. Convincing the Queen of your well-being would be a tricky affair and could risk exposing you. So what are we going to do? I could try to investigate this myself. I don't think they would be so rash as to immediately plan to strike back, so we may have some time to get to the bottom of this. No. I want you to stay close to Jake. With the issues in Old Dominia, I will be leaving once we land. Even now, more than ever, after learning of this. Wait, you're leaving me? Yes. There has been quite a bit of unrest within our borders that I have been called on to address. I have to find out what's going on. But, Jake, you will have Koshiro who will watch over you. As much as I hate to leave you, this is something that I must do. He looked at Koshiro, hoping to have him say something, but he remained silent. Will you be gone long? Only as long as it takes. But I swear I will return back to you. Alright, just be safe yourself. Leandros closed his eyes and nodded. I just hope that where we are going you'll be safe from all this. Well, even if Brahm does try to come after us, we will still hold more military power than them. It would be foolish to come after us even after learning the news of my passing. Not if they believed they would stand a chance at increasing their borders. Half of their nation have their knees glued down before an altar. They likely have forgotten how to even pick up a sword. They wouldn't need to do much, only attack what would be left. Leandros, we still have some time, and you know that we need more allies. We don't have enough men to defend ourselves from both Farharan and Brahm. Farharan? There's someone else who is coming after us as well? Leandros nodded solemnly. It started off as just a group of bandits from Farharan wreaking havoc across Old Dominia. We ignored it, believing that Devro, the commander in charge of that area, would have been able to quell it. But I haven't heard word of him in months, and now this small group of bandits have been growing into a sizable force. Where they are all coming from and so quickly we do not know. We must get to the bottom of this. By the rate of their growth, they will have a full army on our lands, ready to charge forth and bring war right to our doorstep. Which is why we should be asking Brahm for help. It would be nice to have some reinforcements, so if the Queen makes her move, they could end up fighting for her. The late King had many allies in Brahm, those who had sworn their life to him over the Queen. I'm certain they would be willing to help us in this time of need, just as we did for them. To King Reynard, yes, but Jake has yet to prove himself to them. I'm not sure if that is worth the risk. I still feel as though we should give it a chance. It is clear that the invaders are likely to head straight to the capital, seeing as they have for the most part ignored Azite and Renero. Trying to rush an army through the Hallow Pass would be foolish. This gives us much-needed time to prepare reinforcements in the event that our forces aren't strong enough to hold back Farharan. Oh yeah, it's good water. You know, I think I might be able to help you there. I've got a few friends in Farharan who have been itching for a fight. The three of you looked up at the large beastman spying on you from the balcony above. He smiled as he leaned on the railing and saluted to you. He vanished and reappeared a moment later. As soon as he walked forward, you recognized the beastman as Ramos, squeezing his way into your group as though he were the last piece to finish a puzzle. Koshiro leered at him and Leandros simply stared in annoyance. Who gave you permission to eavesdrop on our conversation? This is a private matter that does not concern you. Still quick to climax, I see. Well, for one, it's not eavesdropping if everyone can hear you, and even if you were truly concerned about that, why not take it inside to somewhere more private anyway? Koshiro was right. Koshiro, it's all right. There isn't much about this that he doesn't already know. Ramos grinned once again, and you could feel Koshiro's eye already boring a hole through the rhino. Of course, that still doesn't make it right for you to listen in. And reinforcements? From you? Unfortunately, we don't have the time to wander around Farharan looking for fickle alliances from mercenaries. Farharans aren't fickle. You pay them or owe them a favor and they pay it off. They're more true of a people than you give them credit for. And who said anything about mercenaries? I'm talking about soldiers here. Tough, armed, armored, and ready to fight. We are not exactly on good terms with anyone in the Wastes. Then you're in luck that I have arrived. I know quite a few wonderful, powerful individuals who still owe me some favors. Provided you're willing to pay, I could cash those favors in for far more than just a simple helping hand to your crusade. With the army we have, I think we should be good. Certainly doesn't look like it. I beg your pardon? Look around you. Got a king without a clue of what's going on, making him about as helpful as an armless man in a wrestling match. Hey! Your nation is being ransacked and ravaged, and yet you still refuse to help. You refuse help like a beggar throwing away fresh bread. And somehow you were going to put in a good word for us as you trek across trying to gather an army? There's a lot you don't know about me after 15 years. Really now. Look, if you really don't want my help, then I'll just sit back and watch the show. From a long distance, of course. The gods know I don't want to be caught dead anywhere near your son when things fall apart. He did have a point, although you question how trustworthy he was as an individual. Leandros seemed to accept him, and he did entrust your life to his care back at the castle. Second y'all, water time. Alright guys and gals, and we are back. Let's jump back into it, shall we? After all that you learned, there was no way you could win this war with just your men. You needed more allies. Leandros, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but we need his help. If Ramos believes he can secure us more allies, I'm all for it. See? The kid's got the right idea. Jake, I know it seems like a tempting proposition, but we can handle things just fine on our own. Leandros, we need to prepare for all contingencies. I know you mean well, but it's this lack of insight that forced us into this position in the first place. We need all the help we can get, and if what Ramos says is true, then we should accept it, especially if we are trying to defend our kingdom, our home. I don't like the idea of bringing more enemies from Farharan into our lands. What if they turn on us? We don't have much of a choice. We are fighting an uphill battle on a slippery slope. Ramos, are you completely sure that you can trust these, allies of yours? Like I trust my own family. But they've been dead for years, so maybe that's not a great comparison. Just have a little faith in me, alright? I'll get you that army you need, get paid, and then we can go back to living our merry little lives. You three can go back to having your little tea party orgies in the castle, and I can live off my days in luxury getting fat. Win-win, if I do say so. I really wish you would have done this as your duty. I left that allegiance a long time ago. Just wait and be amazed as Ramos the hero comes back with an army. A true hero wouldn't need to be paid to help those in need. Only in fairy tales, bushy tail. Only in fairy tales. Now then, I think I've overstayed my welcome here. If you need me, I will be in the dining hall. Eating and drinking is about the only thing to do so on this godforsaken ship. Not even someone to spend these long, cold, lonely nights with. Ramos glanced over at you with a sly smile while Leandros took a step between the two of you. The rhino sauntered off, and Leandros heavily sighed. He seemed quite confident. Do you really think he can get us some reinforcements? I thought you were the one who wanted to give him a chance. I know, I'm just second-guessing if it really was the right choice. Despite what he may seem like on the outside, I do trust him, even if he is driven by how much coin he is handed. He may actually come through for us. I just hope that kind of motive for action doesn't mean we will be double-crossed by a higher bidder. The three of you stood in silence, just listening to the waves. All that you could think of was what part you could play in all this. Given your injury, not much, but there had to have been something you could do. You were king now, after all, and this was your nation you would have to fight for. Koshiro, I want you to go to Brahm. Jake, I know you want him to stay behind to watch over me, but in all honesty, what help does that do for any of us? We left you once before. I never want that to happen again, even now more than ever. How do you truly expect him to protect me? I can barely walk on my own, let alone run. Should someone come to attack me, what would you do? Carry me away from danger while also defending yourselves? Oh, sorry about that. I just can't imagine that working out too well. I know what you mean well, but I'm sure that Marilyn and Esther will keep me safe. In the meantime, the two of you should be doing everything you can to put an end to this war. That's what's important right now. I can't very well rule a nation that no longer exists, can I? The two of them remained silent, almost dumbfounded and lost for words. You couldn't quite believe it yourself, putting the needs of the country before your own. Koshiro, I'm not sure how effective it will be, but I can still try to write a letter to our allies in Brahm. We're going to need all the help that we can get. Are you sure that this is what you want? I have scouts who could easily deliver this message. I think a personal visit might be better suited, don't you think? You do have the badge, after all. Koshiro reached into his robe and withdrew a signet that only those close to the royal family were given. It shined and glimmered in the sunlight. It was obviously well taken care of, unlike yours, which was in the paws of that grubby rat that robbed you. He gripped it tightly and then hid it from view. You have my word. I promised you that I would not fail you a second time. Koshiro got down on one knee and kneeled. Something you had never seen him do before in years except with your father. Leandro still hadn't said anything. He just kept looking distant. I take it that is all right with you? It's hard to believe that you are growing up so fast. It seems like only yesterday you were sitting on my lap and asking me to read to you once more. Your face grew warmer, and it wasn't because of the beating sun. There isn't much that I can say or do, though, to keep you safe other than to watch over you myself. You too have an important job to do. Just try to stay out of trouble, for Marilyn and Esther's sake, all right? Man, I'm not even sure if you think I'm a kid or an adult. No matter how old you get, you'll always be a younger brother to me. Just promise you'll keep in touch. Both of you, despite everything that has happened, everything I have said. I can't lose you two either. I don't want you dying for me. I don't want to wake up and hear the news about how you've perished. We'll do what we can, though it might be difficult. If our letters get intercepted, there is a chance our enemies might find you. I can have one of my scouts check up on you every once in a while. That way we can at least keep in touch with one another. Anything will do. As you stared back out into the wide ocean, it reminded you just how far away from your problems you were. Here you likely could have lived a life without fear or worry, but that was the same as running away, and you could never get away from your problems. It was still nice to just relax, though, and maybe just for a day not have to think of the doom and gloom of yesteryear and the hereafter. Your stomach growled, or more like roared as it tried to get your attention once more. I suppose we should probably think about getting you something to eat. Making sure you always get something to eat was another of Declan's orders. That should be for the best. That would be for the best. You gripped your stomach as it rumbled again. Well, you've been out for a few days, so let's head on out to the dining cabin. Koshiro helped you up and you began to walk away. Leandros, you coming? Maybe in a bit. I should let Esther and Marilyn know of our plans as well. They may have some additional insight to this information, since they are so well traveled. Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!